folks. I think I got them tracks broke in just enough for yous. I do too, Buster. I think they're looking good. So today, we're gonna get Lefty back on track. Literally. Tracks on, tracks off. This is a little plug that goes in the master pin on Lefty for the tracks. And you can see it's got a little bit of a taper to it. And on this side, that's where you can screw in a bolt or a puller to pull it out. I'm gonna pack that with grease, and I'm gonna just screw a cork in there to protect the threads. All right, I'll have to clear out a parking spot for Buster right here. I know, we got a mess. We've taken Buster's saddle off. It's up in storage where we can preserve it. And we've got Buster's old tracks back on Buster. We'll double check the tension and then we'll tighten down these lock nuts, but you can definitely see the difference. This is how far back those newer tracks are. These are very, very worn out. But look how far forward we now are. I do want to say thanks, Buster, for helping us break loose those tracks for Lefty. You did a fantastic job. Well, shucks, it was my pleasure, folks. I was just happy to help you all out. Good thing is, these tracks have never laid this flat, ever. We just spent all morning pressing those two sticky pins back and forth and putting oil in them and putting the wax in them, and we're ready to put them on Lefty. We're jacking up the back of Lefty here, and I'm gonna get the skid steer and push on the end of these tracks and slide them up here under the tractor, and then we'll roll Lefty back on the tracks. Oh yeah, nice. Okay.
You know what? I think we can get it.
That looks good. When the tracks cooperate, this goes well. We can tension it and we can run them. One of the things on Lefty that we want to take care of before we put the fenders back on and put everything back together so we can run it is this fuel line here, and Dad's working on that. Right now he's got a piece of emery cloth and he's cleaning up the end. This is the end of that fuel line. It's kind of a soldered on fitting, but it was actually leaking around the seam where it was soldered to the pipe. So Dad's gonna resolder it onto the fuel line. So that's the fuel line that goes from this lift pump, transfer pump. It actually comes through here, through this hole, out this hole on the other side. There's a clamp that goes on here, comes in here, the other side of this pedal, right outside here next to the fender, and then it comes up through this hole and into the fuel tank that sits on the fender. One thing I did a little while ago is I drained out all the water that I have in here because it's been freezing at night for quite some time now. So I can put the plugs back in here, and I'm gonna put some antifreeze in here. Put a little thread sealant on this plug. And get our block drain back in here. And it was nice that I ran it with some water and it kind of flushed out some of the bigger debris. Okay, now I need to make sure that the drain is closed, which I'm pretty sure it is, but rather than dump all my new antifreeze on the floor, I forgot, and I kind of loosened the plug on the side of the block to let a little air out when I dumped the antifreeze in. Yeah, I kind of forgot that.
It's all around there.
Yeah.
Looks better than the old one.
Yeah.
The old one, it didn't get...
You could see on the old one, I remember shining the light in there, it never got inside.
It only got about a 1/4 inch right here.
Either that or over the years of vibration.
I'll just clean that up. I'll let it cool here. It should be good now.
I'm just using a pre-mix 50-50 antifreeze. And here we go. And for Grandpa, I got a couple of these for you. This is for you, Grandpa. This is a radiator anti-rust and water pump lubricant that we used to tease Grandpa about, but I think he was right. It treats up to 12 quarts I'm going to dump 2 of these in here, but I'm going to dump 1 in and then some antifreeze, and so it gets good mix. And you need to shake them very well when you put them in here. We're watching to see when the water comes out of there. I'm going to put another one of these in there. I've got about 2.5 gallons of antifreeze in there.
I can hear it.
That's a big block to fill up.
There it is. There it is.
It took about 3 gallons to get to that drain in the block. I did want to mention that on some of the later models, they have a bleeder for air up here on the intake manifold for the pony motor. This one doesn't have it, so we just try and bleed it out best we can. You can really hear the air coming out of there. That's where the clamp was, right here. And it goes up to this bolt right here.
To that one?
I think so. We'll go look on Buster. And then this goes through here. So we've marked that because I got a piece of heat shrink I think we're going to put over this tube. This is the stuff. It's very big. We're going to give it a try. It might be too big, but it's the smallest that I can get over one of these nuts. And it'll give it a little protection. You can see here there was a little dimple where the clamp was. And Dad kind of just soldered over it just for good measure. It wasn't leaking, but, you know, it'll give us some peace of mind. Howdy, Buster. Good morning. How do, Aaron? We're just looking to see how the clamp's configured here on Buster.
Goes off of that one small bolt.
Yeah, the bolt on the top cover.
Right.
That should be good. Till we run it, we'll keep an eye on it. I'm going to put a little marine grease on this stainless all thread that I put in there just to keep the cap side from rusting. Cooling system's full. We'll finish up our fuel line. Clamps on there. We'll get the fender on next. Somebody suggested that we use some of this zinc additive. It's for break-in oil and breaking in new engines. So I'm going to throw some of this in there too. Now we need to tension the tracks. So by the powers of Benjamin Holt and C.L. Best. And that one's done. According to the manual, you should be able to put a bar under this carrier and lift these tracks chains up about 1.5 inches to 2 inches above this carrier.
Yeah, you got maybe 1 inch, 1.25 inches.
I'll loosen it a little bit more.
You're a little bit tight, I'd say. There, right there.
Okay. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say that's good.
Yeah.
That's about 1.5 inches.
By the powers of Benjamin Holt and C.L. Best, that's done. We had the same 1.5 inches as we have on the other side. I know we're going to have to check all these after we run it around a little bit. Before we forget, I got to put the tapered plugs in these master pins.
Right? Hold it right there.
If you want to see the fenders go on, check out one of my older episodes. It's all there. Every step of the way, it's all there. That's our 4G9986 tag for the back of the machine. Dad's marking it. Looks pretty level.
I'm going to measure them.
And we're going to just drill new holes right underneath there and put it on with some drive rivets. You probably can't see it, but it does say 4G9986. It was stamped underneath the tag. Dad's also got the drill bit in the drill, and he's got it marked to the depth that we need. We're using these stainless steel drive rivets. And I didn't have another one of the big D4 tags. I mean, I do outside, but I don't want to take them off those machines. They're in good shape. Risk damaging them. But I got these from General Gear. They're a little bit smaller than the originals, but they're brass. And you know how Dad and I like the brass. Those will look really good. Here's the brass plate that we got to put on the side of the fuel pump. Look how shiny and nice those are.
Put us a mark right there.
Dad has spent close to 5-10 minutes measuring this out to make sure that we do it right.
How's that look?
That looks pretty good.
It looks really low to me.
Well,
of course, these shadows on this are.
You could say we took a little creative license with the brass tags for the D4. Out here on the D4 parts store, you can see on this 1937 D4 how much bigger that tag is than the ones we put on. The ones we put on are actually, hi, little stripes, smaller like the ones here on this 7U. Hi, or that's 6U, or this 5T actually. That's Little Stripes. That's Big Stripes' little sister. I think we're not going to go any deeper than we need to. Well, Lefty ain't never going to sit outside, so this is a really exciting thing. I'm going to put the handles on the gear shifter, the steering clutch, the main clutch. I'm going to start with the main transmission shifter. And yeah, we're going to keep this one because I got ones out there that don't have anything. And it's better than nothing. I'm just going to put a dab of grease on here to kind of prevent it from rusting. This is one of the parts. I had to get an aftermarket one. This is a CTP, so it's kind of like the Cat aftermarket parts. It's an OL 1170. The original had a kind of a brass insert. This is, I think it's just plastic thread, so I can get one in the future if I need to. Hopefully not. Well, that took me about a second to realize that that's coarse thread, and the original's fine thread. Hey, Lefty, I got one over here you can borrow. Hey, thanks, Wheezy. Lefty and I appreciate that. No problem. Got Lefty's old gear shift knob on Wheezy over there, and this is the one I took off the hydraulics. I'm going to do the main clutch next. Now, this is a replacement part number, is an OL0829. These are all new old stock that I found on eBay. I've got 3 of them, so I should have enough for everything. Oh, that looks very nice, Dad. Very, very nice.
That one scratch there, I didn't do that. See, between the D and the 4?
Yeah.
I don't know. That must have been in there.
You remember when I was little and something got broke and I said I didn't do that?
You did do it, didn't you?
Yeah. So, did you do it?
Yeah, okay, I get it.
I'm kidding. I got a little grease on these threads. We'll see if one of these will fit. Yay. See? Original Cat parts, original Cat reliability. What a sight. We got them all on here. Now, so, these new old stock ones, they've been on a shelf for a while, and you can tell this one had a lot of rust in the threads I had to chase out of there, but I got them all on. This is an amazing look. Never thought I'd see this again on Lefty. Dad's got the other D4 tag on here. Looking good. Probably wondering why there's no fender on here. In case I didn't say before, we're leaving the fender off so that we can run it just in case this track humps up. I don't think it will. I think we'd be okay, but why take the chance? We're going to put the decals on here before everything gets dusty. So I found somebody a while back that would make me a set of decals for a 1937 Caterpillar D4, which is what all 3 of these here are. That one being an RD4. But you can see right here, it has the D4 whiskers up on the top, the Caterpillar Diesel, and then very, very faintly you can see it's got the Made in Peoria Caterpillar sticker at the bottom. It's very faint, but Buster has the exact same thing. And so does that RD4 in front of Buster. You can see the Caterpillar on the back of the seat on the RD4, and above it, the Caterpillar Diesel. That set will work for Lefty. It's correct for Lefty. If I leave out the Made in Peoria part, and I leave out these really cool Caterpillar D4 whisker logos, which I'm going to do. It's just not correct. I've never found any evidence that they put any of these cool Caterpillar whisker logos on a 1939 D4. The only decals that Lefty had, and that tractor had not been tampered with, it had not been repainted. It was very, very original. It had the Caterpillar Diesel on the side of the hood and the Caterpillar Diesel on the back of the seat. No Made in Peoria, Illinois. No cool D4 logo whiskers. So that is what we are going to do. We're going to keep it pure. The reason I was able to find any decals at all, or anybody that knew anything about them, was an advertisement in the magazine for the Antique Caterpillar Machinery Owners Club. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but trust me, it's good for you to join them and for them to have you. It is such a great resource, and man, if you get stumped, there is so much knowledge in ACMOC, ACMOC, Antique Caterpillar Machinery Owners Club. Google it, check them out. Seriously, it's worth it. If you're looking for parts, they have a wanted, they have a for sale section, and you know, it's really pulled through for me on many occasions, so I'm telling you, for the price of the membership a year, it's completely worth it. And it's global. Like, there's people in that club from all over the world.
9 3/4 from the top of the seat down to here. But I think we could, I mean, that's up to your discretion, really.
Yeah, I think so.
The top of the L's right there.
Dad's got some very tiny marks right here. Center, top of the L's in the lettering. Got to be careful that you don't go by the top of the paper because it's not always cut level.
13 and 1, 2, 3 16ths right there.
Basically, we made a hinge with the tape so that we can work at it a section at a time and not get it out of level by accident. Whew.
Need the scissors.
All right, let me get them.
That dot's going to be a bear cat.
Making a mess.
Okay, we're going to have to get that cut a little closer.
Why do I feel like we're doing this the hard way? That's the way of Lefty, the hard way. Making me nervous.
What you have to do is keep this tight and go for it.
Ah! You got it. Make sure we don't have any bubbles under it.
I think we're good.
If you get the tape off, I can get that.
See, I hit our mark. So we should be good.
We're going to put a piece of tape past right here where we cut the decal. So we've moved this hinge point for the decal over to the area that we've already done.
Okay, here we go.
See, I would start in the inside and work my way out.
No. Go read the instructions.
Nah, you know I don't do that.
Easy. Okay, we got it. All right.
Okay.
Now, you hinge over like this.
This is working out any bubbles that might get caught under the decal. That's the thing.
There you are.
The Caterpillar Diesel on this 37 is a lot bigger than the decals that we have. But the decals that we have are exactly like what's on Festus here. And see, there's a separation between Caterpillar and Diesel here.
Yeah, of about almost 6 inches.
Even Buster here's got the remnants of some bigger letters on top of some older letters here. You can see when they brush painted this, you can see that they put the letters on top and it looks like they came off. So who knows what's under the hood on Buster here. We've decided we're going to cut these decals in half right here and put about 4 or 5 inches of separation between Caterpillar and between Diesel. But before we put anything on here, I'm going to wipe everything down with a tack cloth. For the pony motor oil filler and everything, this has this access panel on these early 4G ones, but the RD4, the early 4Gs, they're even more different. This is so exciting. It's so much fun. I just love finding all the differences in what they changed. RD4 hood just has these access holes here. So RD4 hoods they're unique. Ugh, I'm nuts. Now I got to go out to the D4 parts store and see if RD4 6667 has that style hood. Ah, sometime between 36 and 37 they changed it. Interesting. Buster and No Name over there, they have the same one as Lefty. I'll put this cover in here. Now I've got stainless steel, and these were just a slotted screw. I've got stainless steel slotted screws. All of them I took out of here were way too rusted.
Nice.
Okay, let's flip it over and do the other side. All right, let's put the guards on. We got the ghost of Lefty backed up here with the skid steer. I'm going to put the track guards on here, but first, let me show you something. Have I mentioned I like eBay? Well, I like eBay. So I got on there and searched for the handles again, because you'll remember the coarse thread ones that I had that didn't work. These are fine thread. They work, and they are an OL0829. It came from Sector 51. I think they're hiding more than aliens there. It doesn't have the metal on the end, and it's not as period correct as the Caterpillar ones, but for the belt pulley, I think it'll be okay. By the powers of C.O. Best and Benjamin Holt. Well, that's the bottoms. There's 8 bolts on the outside one and 7 bolts on the inside guard. It's quite a bit of bolts, and it's hard to line them all up by myself. You can probably see in there, those bolts come up through the frame. They're just threaded into the frame, so I'm glad that I chased all these out before I did this, and I would put some anti-seize or grease or something on those, because those were super rusty when I tried to take them out. There you can see the ones on the inside bottom. And we got them installed. Might as well put the top guards on as well. For now, we're comfortable with the tension on this side of the track. I'm going to go ahead and tighten down these locks here, and we'll put the guards on. And these are 1.1 inches. I don't know if you can see it, but that bolt goes all the way through, and there's just a fold-over lock here holding it on the other side. Same thing with the one on the bottom. And I'll fit all these on here before I tighten anything down, of course. And as a nice parting shot to anybody unlucky enough to have to get into here, this one's fine thread and the rest of these are just standard thread. I've already chased all of these out with a thread tap, and I've helicoiled the ones I needed to, but I put a little drop of oil in all of them too. And it makes logical sense. When you put these guards on, you start in the back and work to the front because they kind of overlap, and you're most likely to need to get into the front before you need to get anything in the back here. Yes, all them are Caterpillar bolts. You can really see the difference between the Caterpillar Highway Yellow that we used and the Komatsu stuff. We learned a lot on this project, and I think one of our biggest mistakes that we would not do again is to paint all this stuff individually. Some of it, yes, but I think that the idea in the next one is to put it all together mechanically, and then paint over everything. There's going to be some exceptions, of course, behind fuel pumps and things. We'll get some coats of paint on a lot of stuff, but I don't know. Live and learn. That's that side. Let's do the other side, but you don't need to see that. Second verse is same as the first. There it is. I went ahead and tightened up the lock on this track tensioner, and it's easy to get that guard off of there in the future, and I'm sure we'll have to. It's easy. I gotta check those bolts underneath. I think I got them all, but I want to double check them. I could use a little more caffeine. Let's get this belt pulley on. First, I gotta put the linkage up from here, and remember how this is mounted wonky actually to the bolt that holds the seat on? Yeah, that's what we're going to do again. And there was not a lock washer on here when we took it off. Okay, this is where things might get a little tricky. Guessing that goes like so. I'm definitely going to have to adjust the linkage, but I can do that later. And they just had the one bolt here when we took it apart. That one that goes into the back of the seat cushion, so that's it. Oh, cool. It works. Yeah, my fold-over lock. Remember when I dropped the seat on it? I'll take it over on the bench and straighten it out a little bit. When I talk to paper pulleys, I'm going to leave all this paper on here until we test run the D4. But they recommended that occasionally you take 30-weight motor oil and just brush it all the way around here to keep it, especially here in our dry climate, to keep it from drying up and getting hard and breaking. I've got enough room around the edge of that fold-over lock. I can wrap it around the side and get one over on the nut. Over on the RD4, you can see there's a little bit of a rash here and here, and that's from the pull rope for the pony motor. Over here on Lefty, we've just put this blue masking tape that's supposed to not hurt surfaces and peel off easily, but it doesn't. But I've got something else in mind because, well, this looks ugly. This is just the 3M clear paint surface protectant. It's the same stuff that they put on cars for bugs and rock chips. And a very astute viewer in the comments recommended this, so thank you. This sort of stuff always makes me so nervous. I don't know why. I guess I'll wrap it around the end here. And we need to go below on that side too. Not too bad. I got a little bit on the firewall too, so that'll protect that. I'm gonna put the hood on and maybe a side panel, then that'll get Lefty ready for a photo shoot. I know we're missing a fender, but we're gonna take pictures of the good side. One more thing before I forget, I need the channel logo. We'll see if the cleaner notices this. Yeah, he's on vacation right now. I designed these and my wife made them. Part number is 1K2024. Yeah, baby, work it. Nice, nice. Purr like a cat. Purr like a cat. Work it. Act like you want to pull a plow. Yes, yes, that's perfect, perfect, perfect. More fender, more fender. Perfect, perfect. Yes, I love it. Perfect, perfect. Hold that pose, hold that pose. Yes. Yes, I love it. No problem. I have talking D4s. Dad's reading the instructions for the decals. This is a nice slow day today.